Hi there, my name is Emma. Thank you so much for clicking my video today. Today I want to talk to you about diastasis recti. So it might be language you've heard of or be something that's completely alien to you. For most of us who are keen to get back into fitness, having had our babies, we are very conscious of this potential abdominal separation. So that's what diastasis recti is. It's a separation of your abdominal muscles. So there's ways that you can check at home. Sadly, our care providers don't do it routinely. So when we go for our 6-week, 8-week check with our GP, it would be great if they would have a feel of our abdomen and see if we've got any separation there. But sadly, it's not something that is done regularly. So you can check yourself. But probably my best recommendation, if you can, is seek some support from a women's health physiotherapist having had your baby. They will basically give you a bit of an MOT, check in with your core, your pelvic floor. So they're going to be the real experts in this area. So I'm a level 3 personal trainer with a pre and postnatal qualification, extremely passionate about supporting mums through pregnancy and postnatally, but I'm not going to pretend to be an expert because I'm not. There are lots of people who do pretend to be experts, but I'm hoping this little video will just give you some guidance of how to take care of yourself and make those positive steps for your recovery. Okay, so we'll look at what the diastasis is, what it means for you, and then how you can check. And I will just run through a few exercises that we want to perhaps be cautious of when we're recovering with a diastasis recti. Okay, so our abs, quite a complex structure, lots of different muscle groups, lots of different areas of insertion of our abs. But sort of on the outer layer, we've got our rectus abdominis. So sort of using my hands here as a representation. So they come together and meet at the middle and join a fascia called the linea alba, which runs down the centre here. So when we have our babies, but not exclusively having babies, other people and babies sometimes will have diastasis recti as well. But when we have a baby, our abdomen expands to facilitate the growth of our baby. And as our tummy expands, those muscles will separate and the linea alba will stretch. Then we give birth, have our babies, and then our body's got to get back to how it was. And quite often we are left with this little bit of a deficit here. So our rectus abdominis don't quite meet in the middle, and the linea alba is often stretched, more lax and loose, and not as strong as it used to be. So we can have separation extensively down through the middle, or we can have a separation here, a bit lower down, just above the tummy button, or a little bit higher up here. It's very common to have a diastasis having had your baby. It's no reflection on how you exercise throughout your pregnancy. It's just one of those things. But yeah, we certainly need to try to put things right if you do discover that you've got a diastasis. So what does it mean? It can cause a whole manner of different issues, but probably the most reported issue that women will talk about is having lower back pain. So if you've got a weak core and there's nothing here sort of supporting you. So our abdomen, our core muscles work exceptionally hard in keeping us upright. So if they're not as strong as they need to be, then the back muscles will take over, and that will often leave us with discomfort, particularly in the lower back muscles. So that's one thing. It can affect your pelvic floor. So we often talk about the pelvic floor and the core as separate entities, but they're very much working together as one. So if you've got a weak core, weak pelvic floor, we can see urinary incontinence, sometimes fecal incontinence, vaginal prolapse. So there's those as well. Sometimes if we've got a proper tear in the linea alba, we might see herniation, and that might require a surgery to put right. Also, when we've got a weak core, it can leave us with this sort of mummy tummy appearance. Sadly, so many women are really self-conscious about what their tummy looks like after having their babies. I always try and encourage mums to sort of make peace with this new appearance. So I've had 2 children, and my space here is certainly not how it used to look, but I'm sort of learning to accept that, having an understanding of this massive thing that my body did in expanding and growing a baby. So for me, it's more important to be strong and healthy rather than striving to have that sort of flat ironing board kind of abdomen that you may have had previously. So if we've got a weak core though, we can continue to have this little pouch there. You might have sort of lost some of the baby weight, be happy with how you're exercising, but you just can't shift this little pouch, and sometimes that's through the weakness of the abdominal muscles as well. So if we can learn ways to strengthen, then we can hopefully help you work on that appearance there as well. So there's lots of things that the diastasis recti or an abdominal separation can cause problems with the body. Okay, so how do you check then? It's extremely simple to check for yourself. So I'm going to lie down here. So, lying down, okay? So we're going to check in those 3 different places that I mentioned, okay? So if I lift up my top here, you see my mummy tummy that I've made peace with. So loose skin, and yeah, just not quite what it used to be, but I've made peace. So I encourage you to try as well. So what you're going to do is take 2 fingers, okay, and imprint them in just above your tummy button, okay? So this is the first area that we're going to check. So what I'd like you to do when you're checking is take a deep breath in, and on an exhale, lifting your shoulders up from the ground. So what you want to do here is give your fingers a little bit of a wiggle. And what you should feel is your rectus abdominis muscles either side. So they should come together closely and have no separation. But what you might find is that you can sort of move your fingers and feel a gap. So you'll feel them one side and then the other. Good, lowering down. So if you find that you've got a separation there that is more than 2 fingers width, that would be a diastasis recti. You might find that you've got a separation, it's not quite that extensive, but nonetheless you would still need to take some care and assist your body in recovering. So we've checked there, similar thing here. So imprint those 2 fingers slightly higher up this time. Breathe in, exhale and lift. Good, having a little wiggle and lowering back down. And then same again in that final position here. So we breathe in, exhale and lift. Bit of a wiggle. Decide what you can feel and then lower back down. So having had my babies, I had quite an extensive separation there. So I've healed here at the top and lower down as well, but just above my tummy button, there is still a fraction of a separation. But when I come up, I can feel that the linear alba beneath is very strong. So the fascia is strong and developed. So, although I need to continue to work on my pelvic floor and my core strength, that little separation there may not resolve, but actually shouldn't cause me too many issues. And I did seek support from a women's health physio, and she was quite happy with how my core was presenting. Okay. So if you look at other videos and guidance with diastasis recti, quite often it's a very blanket, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. But it's important to appreciate that we are all very individual as women. Some of us will have more body awareness in that we've done a lot of fitness, maybe Pilates, yoga, that kind of thing. So we're very aware of how to engage our abdominals and things like that. And sometimes that can assist you in being able to do things a little bit more quickly and assist in your recovery and improving things more quickly. So we're all individuals, but often we are working on workouts that we've put together ourselves, or we're using YouTube, that kind of thing. And I think if that's you and you're not working with a personal trainer, not attending any postnatal fitness classes, not seeing a physiotherapist or anything, the blanket approach is probably for you. So if you discover that you've got that separation, let's avoid a few things. So the things that we want to avoid are anything that's creating pressure behind those abs. So if we're creating intra-abdominal pressure, it's going to impact the body's ability to repair your abs, okay? So something that creates intra-abdominal pressure, a sit-up, okay? And a lot of postnatal mums wanting to shift their mummy tummy will say, right, I'm going to do 100 sit-ups every day. I'm going to get it gone and develop my core. But actually that can be one of the worst things that you can do, because you're creating so much pressure there, it's going to prevent healing. So reverse crunches, sit-ups, that kind of thing are something just to avoid until you can feel that you're getting stronger and the core is repairing. Plank is another one, and again we see a lot of plank challenges, that kind of thing. Just be very, very cautious, and if you've selected a postnatal workout where you think, I'm not sure that that's not creating pressure behind my abs, and if you're feeling that it's too strong for you, that you can't hold your core, any urinary leakage, that kind of thing, then please stop. There's so many videos where people are pretending to be experts and we trust in what they're saying. So this is where I'm hoping this video will support you in looking after yourself. So sit-ups, plank, running can cause problems as well for a few different reasons. So I mentioned the core's function, so important. So as we're running, and running is high impact, we often think, oh, we'll just go for a little jog, what harm can that do? But running puts a lot of impact through your joints. Your core has to work really hard to stabilize your pelvis. So if it's weak, it can lead to injuries in other parts of your body. Also, as we fatigue when we run, we're more likely to let go of our core, which means we're going to be creating pressure there. We stop engaging those abdominals, we stop protecting the core, we create pressure. And also then that will often mean you've let go of your pelvic floor, and we might then see problems on the back of that. So running can cause vaginal prolapse. We certainly can experience urinary leakage when we run, and that was a big wake-up call for me. So after I had my first baby, probably 8 weeks postpartum, I thought, right, I'm going to go for a run. I did the park run, so a nice little distance for somebody like myself with my fitness level was still pretty good, but my core and my pelvic floor were not ready for that. And coming towards the end of the race, I lost complete bladder control. Luckily, nobody noticed, but it was a big kick up the bum for me in taking care of myself, but also seeking some more training in my qualifications so that I could then work more closely with postnatal mums in their recovery. So I hope that was useful. Check out some of my videos throughout my YouTube channel. There's several workouts on there. I design them for pregnancy and to be postnatally safe with adaptations. So yeah, I hope that is useful. Please like, subscribe and share on my channel, and leave a comment if you've got something that you'd like to say, something you'd like to see more of on the channel as well. It's all useful in helping me to build things up. Okay, thank you very much.